YouTube is funny, man. There are techniques to try to ensure things do better, but you never really know when it's going to throw you for a loop. My two most viewed videos are the one about Metal Gear Rising and the one about healers. The healer one actually did pretty well by my standards because of a pretty good thumbnail and title combo, but both of them got that mythical second chance on the algorithm where it gets sent back into circulation. For a while my notifications have been pretty slow, but a couple weeks ago I suddenly started getting a ton just on the healer video. And if you've ever gotten a lot of responses to one thing you've done, you know that like 90% of them aren't original, or at the very least fall into a broad genre talking about the same thing. That's also true here, and it's kind of harder to take because I think the healer video is one of the most flawed videos that I've made. So one of my biggest pet peeves is when I make a small mistake that's secondary to whatever point I'm making, and people get entirely hung up on that one mistake. So of course one of the biggest genres of comment is people pointing out that Mercy Overwatch is not a tank healer, she's a zippy-dippy DPS buffy thingy. That's correct, and the truth is I don't play very much Overwatch at all, and I alluded to that in the video. I basically just didn't like what little I had played of her and knew other people found her basic. What I said was a mistake, but dumping on Mercy wasn't the actual point of the video. She just happens to be the first character that I talk about in the process of constructing a broader point, but because that's the first thing that people hear, that's all they respond to. So that's pretty frustrating. Another thing I hear a lot is that Mercy and Medic are functionally identical besides mobility, so they don't get why I say the Medic is so great. This one is especially aggravating because that's literally the thesis of the whole fucking video. That similar characters have different fun levels depending on the game that surrounds them. Like, guys, after the Meet the Medic clip in the section about the Ubercharge, I basically spell out, yeah, having an ult isn't special, but the game makes it special. I want to be mad and say people are too stupid to grasp this point, but because it's happened so much, I kind of just have to accept that maybe I didn't convey it clearly enough. A video essay is communication, and there's no point in expressing ideas if you can't make them understood. Otherwise, you're just babbling to yourself. This also leads to a firestorm that, unlike the last two, I did not predict at all, which is that way more people cared than I thought about the distinction between the word healer and the word support. Like, damn, many people brought this up, and there's apparently more than one Overwatch content creator out there that gets super heated about people mixing up those terms. Me, I use the two basically interchangeably. But if I was aware that people cared, I think a lot of confusion could have been avoided because I wanted to talk about actual healers, like characters that spend most of their time healing. And probably the biggest mistake in the video is that I flash this text on screen at the very beginning explaining what a primary gameplay loop is, as I say that I'm interested in games that make healing a primary gameplay loop. That's not flash on the screen type info if you don't religiously watch Yahtzee's Dev Diary like me, so it probably should have been emphasized a lot more because it's literally the whole point of the video, besides the whole building the game around the character thing. It's about the characters that have their moment-to-moment gameplay expanding on a thing that other games consider to be an afterthought, making it the main thing you do in a fun and interesting way, but I don't think that everyone got that. So, I consider the healer video in many ways to be a failure, and there have been times that I've considered just setting it to private. And the fact that I'm making money off of it stays my hand a little bit, but also because shit, this is all just a hobby. Every video is a learning experience in some way or another. And I wouldn't be surprised if I've gotten some ongoing haters from this video because internet personalities have gotten deranged stalkers for far less. But just pretending that it didn't happen would be such a shitty and lame way to deal with it. There's work in there that I like, even if there's other parts that I don't. And it's something to learn from and show how far I've come, you know? Kind of like my older and worse videos. It's a historical record. But maybe I should mute notifications on this one.